Well, the U.S. military today flew 2 B-1B bombers and 4 stealth jet fighters over the Korean peninsula. The live-fire drills conducted alongside South Korean and Japanese warplanes in response to Pyongyang's launch of that intermediate-range ballistic missile over Japan last week. And President Trump today suggested we bring back military parades.
It was 2 hours on the button, and it was military might, and I think a tremendous thing for France and for the spirit of France. And to a large extent, because of what I witnessed, we may do something like that on July 4th in Washington, down Pennsylvania Avenue.
The president referring to the Bastille Day parade that he and the First Lady attended, and it sparked his interest in resurrecting military parades in this country. Think about this. When was the last time you watched a military parade of any size in this country? The last major military parade in Washington, D.C. was in 1991 to mark the end of the First Persian Gulf War. It included troops, tanks, and other vehicles, a massive, massive display, a victory parade, something we haven't had a lot of reason to celebrate since. Joining me now, retired four-star General Jack Keane, Fox News military analyst. Great to have you with us, General.
Good to be here, Lou.
So much that is serious and so many threats to the country right now. But I do want to start with the president's idea. This seems to me like a grand idea. How does it appeal to you?
Yeah, it does. I'm glad he thought about it. I was in Paris just prior to that parade that took place there, and I saw them putting up all the stands, and I asked about it, and I didn't realize myself that the parade on the celebration of their anniversary is largely a military one. Yeah, I think, you know, on the 4th of July across America, there are all sorts of parades, obviously, and fireworks displays, but there's limited military participation in there. There is some, to be sure, but to have one focused on the military on the 4th of July in D.C., I think it's a great idea. Yeah. You know, also the military has a concert here. Some of our viewers may not know that. Right. In the evening, just prior to the fireworks display that takes place. It would be a great day.
And I would hope that every community in the country would have a parade, no matter whether without a military contingent nearby, or they're veterans, whomever. It's just such a, you know, it is something that I just think is a brilliant idea. And I wonder why the military eliminated so many of these engagements, parade engagements, by their various units. I suspect budget, but then again, you can suspect something worse. I mean, our military should always be on display, I think.
Well, I agree with you, but, you know, the military's got to be invited, and yep. We don't force ourselves on anybody, clearly. So here we've got a president that wants us invited, and I think small-town America has these parades. I've been at some of them myself, sure. And it's just that there may not be military in the vicinity to go to that parade, but they have vets in the parade, they have police in the parade, they have fire departments in the parade. It's great to see.
Well, our small community, Sussex and Wantage, New Jersey, they put on quite a show, and it's a terrific one. Actually, year-round, nearly every event, including Memorial Day. General, let's turn to what is going on right now in North Korea. The president will be talking to the General Assembly. The United Nations, no matter how much we might wish otherwise, is a failed institution, incapable of achieving its mission, and has had, at best, a record of mediocrity, if not outright failure, over its entire time in existence. Where can this president rely on our allies beyond Japan, South Korea, and the region to be supportive and helpful in the contest that may come with not only North Korea, but with China?
Well, the president, Secretary Tillerson, and Ambassador Nikki Haley, they, at least for the time being, they're going to stay within the context of the UN because they've had success in achieving UN resolutions to sanction North Korea. They haven't been as tough as they want, but as of now, they don't want to walk away from it because they have such large international community support in isolating North Korea and being the kind of pariah nation that it truly is. I believe at some point, China and certainly Russia, are not likely to go along with the very tough measures that the country wants. And at that point, I suspect we will pull away from the UN sanction regime and have to go at the sanctions with China and against China ourselves. I think that's kind of the path we're on. And the other thing that's happening here is Kim Jong-un is racing to get this nuclearized ICBMs because he wants to, if he believes he gets it, and as soon as he gets it, he thinks the United States will acquiesce and accept it, and at that point he'll start negotiating away some of these sanctions for some minor accommodations that he's willing to make, not giving up on anything in terms of nuclear ICBMs. I think that's where his head is and why he's moving so rapidly to do this. He knows full well that sanctions really do take time to take hold and have the kind of economic impact.
And would you not say that sanctions haven't worked at all with North Korea? They have not slowed, but rather spurred the development of both ballistic missile technology and with the assistance of the Chinese, and also nuclear warheads, which are being miniaturized to ride on those ICBMs that are being developed very quickly.
Yeah, they've never worked. The only thing that's different is these sanctions are tougher than anything we've done before. I think the Trump administration is very clear-eyed about this, Lou. They know full well that sanctions by themselves may not bring North Korea to the position that we want them to be. And they have a full dose of skepticism about what they can achieve with sanctions. They also believe strongly that China can have a considerable impact on coercing North Korea to change its behavior. They have not given up on that.
They haven't given up, but I think also they are getting clear-eyed about just what a role China has played in creating the monster that is North Korea, and the responsibility that will have to be shared with China if misadventure is the result.